Top of the morning.
Top of the hour to you.
Top of the
Top of the
hour.
morning. Yeah, top of the hour, folks. Hey, I'm ThatKimberly, and thank everyone for joining us today. Me and my co-host here.
Hello, hello.
Yes,
I know I'm taking over. It's the dynamic duo that Kimberly
we
and
are.
Lacey.
Yes,
Just kidding.
hashtag that. We are back, and we're super excited to be talking today about mindset and how you can thrive by choosing to have that positive mindset. So before we jump into that, I just want to remind everybody that we are going live from Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And so if you have a positive mindset and you want to share your mantra or some quote or saying something that's positive, leave it in the comments. We want to hear it. If you have one, leave that in the comments as well and tag either Lissi or myself. If you watch us on the replay, make sure you put hashtag the city you're watching us in and replay, hashtag the city you're watching us in and replay. Yeah, so we know. But no matter where you're watching from, oh, look, thank you, Miss Shane Clemens.
Hello, hello.
Alias is her maiden name. So for
Ah.
all those who know her from her apartment days. But anyways, so thank you for joining us. And let's jump into it.
Yes, I'm excited. Let's talk about something that I love, positivity. No, but really how to grow and thrive in it. Sometimes I think life really makes us have those moments where we don't want to be positive, right? That's just the truth. It's like those down moments. And so today, I hope we can inspire, encourage, and really kind of just start some great conversation on how to keep that positive mindset, but being realistic too at the same time with our stories. So we're going to talk about how to practice gratitude, how to surround yourself with positivity, embrace those challenges. Yes, I said it. We got to embrace those. Take care of ourselves. That's the number one most important as well.
Yeah.
Practicing some really great mindfulness with that, right? I think it all leads up to everything when it comes to within your personal, but also in your work life too, when keeping that positive mindset. So I'm excited about that, Kimberly. What about you?
I'm excited. Tell me, what do you do when the first thing you do in the morning to practice gratitude?
Oh my gosh. Well, first I get up and I'm grateful just to see a new day, right? I think when you do practice their gratitudes and you're just grateful to open your eyes and being able to just start all over and just say, you know what, today is going to be the day, no matter what I'm feeling, no matter what I'm going through, no matter what life is bringing me at that moment. It's just being in that moment and just opening my eyes. And I think when you start off with that light note and you're telling yourself that, what you're doing is you're speaking that positivity within yourself. And that's important. That's like another, important thing that sometimes I think we fail to do is speak positivity over ourselves, but over the situation out there.
It makes a difference when you don't speak nicely I don't nicely to myself. I'm my biggest critic. Nobody when I mess up, first person to say that I messed up, and I'm my biggest critic. So I realized going through this journey that I've been on that I don't speak nicely to myself sometimes. So I have to start, I wake up every morning and I'm just grateful for the roof over my head, the clean water, because there's a billion people on this planet who don't have access to clean water. So I am the clean water that I get to shower and drink every morning, right? That I get to make my great. I'm grateful for the cup of coffee that I get that I make myself in the morning. I
love that.
I start with the soft pillow that I'm sleeping on, the perfect comfort, because for me sometimes it's been when you are struggling with mental health, when you're through something like what I did, like coming back from that, it's the smallest thing for me that helps me get into that. It has to start all the way from the minute that I touch the ground and I say, thank you, Lord, for waking me up for another day, because nobody's promised tomorrow, right?
No, and I think when you start off each day with being grateful for whatever you're grateful for, all the things, your family, your friend, your coach, whoever is in your circle in your life. I think that's so important. And one thing I had a coach that gave me a gratitude book, and I to this day
Ah,
is I write a list of my, what am I grateful for, whether that's first thing or right before you go to bed at night. It kind
yeah.
of changes that dynamic of your mindset of anything that you went through that was negative within that moment or that time. If it is the day and you practice it at night, that now you're sitting here saying the grateful things and you're overcoming those negative thoughts. And I like to say it's the changing the course of the thoughts, right? And
Yeah.
and it's very hard, trust me, just kind of going back, last week, true story was, I was having moments. I was having those moments where I was like, man, I'm just like, am I doing what all I can do? Am I pushing through? Especially if you're stepping out and doing new things in life and
Yeah,
challenging.
you're doing something new. So
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, and on this new adventure of being, like I said, an inspirational speaker, but at the same time, it could be anything that you're working towards in life or goals, whether it's personal or work related, that you do have those moments where you just feel like, I don't have it in me today.
Hmm.
How can I stay positive and continue to be able to change that course of that thoughts? And I think it starts with that gratitude in the first thing in the morning. Write that list down, have a book,
Say it
journal,
out loud, or
right?
say it. I just yeah. Say it out loud. Write it on your mirror. I've seen people with
The
a
lipstick or
eraser.
the color crowns in the mirror, right? Whatever you need to do.
Yeah, I have houses surrounded with
There you
little,
go.
little sayings, quotes, whatever it is at every corner, especially in the bathroom. My bathroom is
Yeah.
full of, because that's the first place I go to in the morning. I give my Mel Robbins high five. The High Five Habit is a great book, and you some great suggestions as well. But like high fiving yourself, there's science to some
Yeah.
of the positive that we do to high five. When you're playing sports or whatever, it gives a drip of apparently
Well,
to us.
it's the truth. We are so good at speaking positivity to other people, and we're always
Mhm.
about saying, "Hey, you did amazing. We're high-fiving you. Great job." But we forget to do it to ourselves, right?
Yeah,
And at the
sure.
same time, and that goes to speaking and surrounding yourself with that positivity every
Yes.
day. And I love that.
So hashtag Poncho Espinosa. Yes, we control our attitude and decide how we will feel.
That
Yeah.
is so true. And I absolutely love that. I think it starts with us in that sense of it and, and how we lead the day and how we continue that. But it goes into that speaking and surrounding yourself with positivity, right?
Yep.
Who is in your crew of people? As I would like to say,
Ah,
my hashtag pit crew. I was telling Kimberly, like I use everything on a race car analogies, but it's like, who is those pit crew of people that are going to be there for you, right? That
yeah.
you can sit there and help you when you go through
Your
your circle,
your
right?
inner circle. Yeah, and it's not like I call it my tribe.
Yeah,
Your inner or your inner circle, whatever it is. There is you do have circles of friends. You're really tight. I categorize my friend groups into people who have known since I was in elementary school and still associated and still claim me through
yeah,
college. And now, like there's that 30-year span, there's a 20-year span, there's a 10-year span. All of them have different, and there's people that could pick up the phone and absolutely like the tightest of circles, right? And but all of them are positive people. The
yeah,
closer to me, the people closer to me are the most positive. The ones that are furthest extended, because I got good in college at releasing the friends that were not good, healthy. I
yeah,
shouldn't say friends, just people in general,
yeah,
ex-boyfriends, friends, just as I got really good at figuring out who those positive ones that were my cheerleaders with me,
yeah.
and then leaving, not totally Xing out, because I'm just not that type of a human. Sometimes you have to X people out. Yes.
You do. If it has that negative energy being brought
Yes.
upon your circle and you feel it, I know I ain't the only one. You feel
Yes.
that. Those
I
are
got one. I got one person that, and we're not going to go there. We're going to keep this.
keep this positive, right? That's what it is. But when
Yes.
you do have that negative energy, you do got to remove certain people out of your circle. It doesn't
Yes.
mean it has to be in a negative way. You just got to, just like, okay, I wish you well, all the best, but this is where my mind is at. It's a mental thing, right? It's and
Yeah.
on that side of it. So not an expert.
100%.
That's just my perception of that.
Yeah, but well, but think about it. I mean, when you're learning these things, I always go back, and now that I'm about to be 50, think back to my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, and what those mentors and what those
Yes.
situations were about, so that I can reflect and just and figure out, where I am now in my 50s, right? And
Yeah.
positive people, positive things, surrounding myself with them.
It's a learning experience. It's growing. That's part of the growing and thriving. I think you learn through all of these different aspects and all different situations in life. I didn't become where I'm at now because I just had this easy path of, woo, yeah, no. It
Yeah,
was a lot of ups and downs, but it helped me grow to become the person I am today and still evolving. But it does. It helps with that mindset. It helps with being able to understand and welcome those challenges, because I think at the end of the day, we like to steer away from that, right?
yeah,
Challenges are, we're going to have them. They're going to
yeah.
come. There's going to be obstacles, whether that
Make us
is,
stronger. Yeah,
it
they make
does
us
make you
stronger.
stronger, but you grow from that. You learn
Yeah,
from that. It helps you with opportunities, I would say, right?
yeah,
I go back and think in my life, if I didn't have challenges or work through the things that I worked through, or even overcome, even stepping out and doing something new, I wouldn't have the strength to be able to do it and learn from
yeah.
it. And I'm not saying, and like I was telling you earlier, I'm not saying everything is always easy and everything's always,
Sunshine,
and
sunshine.
sunshine.
Yeah,
I like to say that, but in reality, it does come with, hey, I got to do this. I got to dedicate this, because if not, and having anxiety, it does go down a spiral pace. And so you want to constantly work through those negative thoughts and keep them positive.
yeah. And if you follow that energy,
I
all
like
it's gonna
that.
lead. Yeah, but if you follow it, because it's going down.
Yeah.
If you follow energy, you're gonna get negative stuff, and that
Mhm.
whatever, whether it's stub your toe, or or it's get into some sort of trouble or whatever. When you're following a negative, whatever it is, then it's not going to be, the end result is not going to be good, right?
Yeah.
So now for me, that I have to stay like it has to happen from that moment that I wake up, to stay in that positive frame of mind, because then I won't even make it to being awake in a positive frame of mind. Like there are some days that, I don't know about you, but like you shared earlier about struggling, a little bit last week. I was in the same boat, and I thought about, but I was like, oh, I don't want to overwhelm her just yet.
I think we've all
Um,
had those moments. We do.
yeah, but because I know you're such a positive person, and I have, I called, my tribe, but I tried to pick and choose, and I do believe that if somebody doesn't pick up the phone, it's because they weren't meant for that person, for me to talk to that moment in that time. And in
Mm.
that moment, when all else have failed, from everything, that from my culture to my senses to my, and I lost my inhaler, that is eucalyptus, and it's from, I'm a soap addict, shout out Diana. When all fails, I have to resort to calling people, like,
Yeah.
because sometimes I just need a action, and the distraction, I want to hear about somebody else's great day, or if I have enough and they're not having a good day, I can hold space for them,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
like how is you when you're going through that? Like, are you one that you want to lean on more of your, like, tools and other things like that, or do you ever just want to pick up the phone and talk to somebody?
Oh, wow. I think I have a combination, because I'm a very person that keeps everything to myself. And,
Okay.
and so sometimes it's hard for me to want to burden other people. And I was told I was being selfish from a friend, because I was not opening up and allowing someone else to listen. But I
Good
did
for your friend. Hey,
hear.
friend, for being honest with you, like
Very
that.
much, and I
Yeah,
appreciate that a lot. But I also heard too that, when you're going through those spaces and you have those negative thinking capacity, and you want to really work to keep it positive, if you want to call someone, ask that person, do you have that space for me to speak to? Do you have
yeah,
the moment to space to listen? And I heard that
yeah,
on the podcast, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a good way and a lead way. But for me, I tend to go back to my tools. I'm just very set focused on,
Yeah.
okay, let me just write things down. And I've learned that coping mechanism of writing things down in that journal, writing things out of why I was feeling the way, what was the reason, the cause of that, and then moving on to the next step and hopefully, letting it go. Or
Yeah.
it's just
Your
taking a walk
process.
and being in the
And
nature. And that's my process. Yeah.
that's your process. And everybody, like you're saying, if you call somebody, I should this that I am in sales, folks. So I've always, like, I always ask them, do you have time? When I'm not in a good headspace and I need help, I have gotten really good at saying, I'm not having a good day, do you got a couple of minutes? Or if I'm struggling with a decision of something, do I go left, do I go right, is it purple or is it green?
Mm,
I will call friends and be like, oh, I'm trying to make this, do you have a time to help me make this decision on X? And they'll know, no, did it, or let me call or whatever. Like, and sometimes people don't answer, and if they don't answer, hey, no
yeah.
big deal. I hang up. No, I don't even ask them to call me back, right? Unless it's my go. I have 4 go-to people. If one of those
I
4
love
people
that.
don't answer, then I'm gonna be like, okay, you're my last person. Please call me back, right? Like I do have, because I know I'm a lot for people. I am a lot of energy, and even though Shane Clements is my sister from another mister, she's a lot of high energy, but I feel like I use her because this is nothing I wouldn't say if she wasn't sitting right there with me.
Yeah.
This is something that has been very offended her, but it's because I say it with a lot of love. God put her in my life to
Yes.
help me remember the things I need work on, because her and I's energy are so similar. Our hearts are so big.
Um,
We love, so and we want to protect people, right? So
yeah.
we look at her. Yes, yes, I'm talking about you, Mrs.
I love
Salinas.
that.
But she is in type of people that I like. She is one of those 4 that I could be like, okay, I absolutely need you to call me back. She might call me back a little bit more often now than she used to, but she was there. She, the tribe of people that helped me in that moment, in April, that
Yeah.
started, even though was already going on this journey even before April. She didn't even know half, but she knew a lot of it. She knows about all my warts and still loves me anyways.
And
um
that's and that's awesome. That's the point
but,
to have. Like
and you
that's
have to be a self-aware, like you
yeah,
have to be that self-aware. And but that has only been through a lot of therapy, a lot of journaling, and because I every morning to wake up and think about the things that I am grateful for to keep me positive. And it doesn't happen every day. Like sometimes it's harder than others, right? But I have responsibilities, and my why is my mother. First and foremost is my mother. So if I'm having a day,
mhm.
I just do just enough to get her is clean, happy, and safe, which is within my right realm. I can make that happen. And then I just don't do much. But
Yeah.
I do, like, around me, because I don't want to be so lethargic that I am just in that ugly, ugly space.
No, and that's
Thank
definitely
you.
that is so amazing because I think you kind of touched on the why and I love that. I think what we all have to realize, another reason to stay positive, especially during our day in and day out and anything that is going through, is remember the why. I want to do quotes, but
Yeah.
remember
Oh, we can do
right?
the heart.
Box. But remember that why. And the reason I say that why is something you can go back to. So if you have it out there, you guys, comment, write down, what is your why of
Yes.
what you're doing? What is the reasoning behind that? What is it
Yeah.
to where if you're feeling some kind of way one day and you're just not as positive, but you can do it and you can grow and you can thrive, go back to that why. Remember that why. Because trust me, I had to go back to it. I had to think about it. And that's the path that I think we're all on. We're all on different journeys. And
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, it's just really refocusing on that and still growing with that too.
And
But
being and paying attention when you put yourself, I don't know if this happens to you, but what I found when I keep the circle of people around me positive, it helps me. It
yeah,
makes it easier, right? Like I've only person that is in my life that I'm still working on, right? Like, but
yeah,
the most part, I surround myself with those positive people because their energy, their whatever they're
Mhm.
whatever they're thinking about, that gives me good and positive energy.
Yeah, I love that. It's like whatever they're putting down, you're picking up. And so at
Mhm.
the end of the day, that is something that is so important. So it's so
Yeah,
important to keep those circle of people who are going to be your positive drivers, right? That
yeah,
encouragement crew, those are the ones that are going to help lift you because I trust you. I have them and you need them. It's hard to do
yeah,
it, without that, especially if you are trying to, again, work towards and thrive towards anything that you want to achieve or aspire or dream of
yeah.
in your life as well.
100, 100%. And if having someone, the other thing that I've learned, that with my tribe, and top four to, I say 10, but anybody, most people that know me well, or that have worked with me, they know that I'm always about being held accountable. Like I give you permission to hold me accountable
Oh,
when
yeah.
I'm not having, when I'm not holding up, or when something is going on, and I'm not being the best version of myself. Like, so
Oh,
if it's like whatever, if because I'm talking negative about something or something, because I'm not perfect, right? Like
yeah.
there are certain people on the planet that I just have the capacity to speak nicely about, and only one of them I well, and the rest of them are people that they're just in the news. I can't do anything about it, right?
Yeah.
But my is that, like, I have accountability partners that have no problem, and anybody who's ever worked with me in holding me, they know I want the truth. I want them to hold me accountable. If
Yeah.
I say I'm going to do something and I'm not doing it, I need to be put into check, right?
Oh my gosh, I love that. You should. You need to have that person that's going to help drive you, but be that backbone for you too. That's part of that circle of your group. It's almost like separating certain people in your group, like, your friends, like who's going to be that motivator, who's going to be that cheerleader, who's going to be that push person, who's going to be the one like,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you like it is today, or
Who's going to be the HR? Who's going to be the
I think that goes both ways. You need those people in your life to be able to progress, but to, like I said, to thrive, to be better than who you are at the sense,
Yeah.
because that's what you ultimately want, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think it's so hard sometimes, and in our, in our minds, and trying to change that thought process and our mindset, but it's a growth mindset. It's
Mhm.
literally you want to grow. And I
Yeah.
think, we've both gone through life challenges in different aspects, but we're in different journeys, but similar in a sense
We're
to,
parallel.
yeah, very much.
We're very, very parallel for sure.
Very much where it comes to you want to grow, so you've got to have that mindset to grow, and to order to grow you have to practice these things to stay positive, because life will suck you down and you don't want that. And I
Yeah.
definitely don't. It's a progress of growing as well.
Yeah. Tell me, do you do vision boards?
I do. Anybody out there, vision board people? I know
Yeah.
everyone's just like, it sits out there to where it's like, oh God, they're too time consuming. I don't. Me, okay, so I have been doing vision boards for over 6 years or so. And it's funny that me and Kimberly were talking about it. And we're two totally different ways of doing it, because your vision board is your vision board, but I think they
Yeah.
help. The way I do my vision board is I separate mine into bubbles, right? And so whether it's my work related, whether it's my personal goals, whether it's my, spiritual, whether it's my, yes, my future husband. He's asking, let me find him. No, but it's all those different aspects of how I'm going to work towards that. What am I needing to work on? Whether it is within myself, whether it is within my daily day goals of work, whether it is, my personal health goals. What it keeps me grounded, but it keeps me focused. That's why I say it goes back to creating that plan, but creating those visions to where everything I see, it works towards and it comes into fruition. I'm a true, firm believer in that. I don't think I ever shy about putting things out there in the universe and staying positive, because when you speak that positivity and you look at things and you're constantly working on it, it comes back,
Yeah.
tenfolds. And I have maybe
100%.
another session, but I do have things that has happened to me, and it's just a lot of hard work too that you got to
Yeah.
put into that.
Yeah. It's all there's so many different pieces to the puzzle, because, when it comes to mental health, brain is different, right?
Yeah,
So your mind, your brain, everything is so it's going to work for you. Some of those things might work for me, but not everything. So then I have my other things, right? And your journey and your experiences are so different. the key is that I'm from you and from others, right? I
Yeah.
learn from myself, I learn from others, but I definitely know that everything that one person does doesn't always mean that I have to do those things. Or when I go to a therapist and give me suggestions, or they we go through a therapy like ETT that I do it, like there are different tools in that therapy kit that don't work, others that do. And so I try to be very aware of those and use all of it, right? So that
Yeah,
makes
it all kind of connects with each other in some kind of way. And I think, if you haven't done vision boards, I encourage you
oh
to, and really break it down into each bubble or whatever it is that you
or
want, because I
I
think
don't
it's
know, can I
important.
here's mine.
See,
I
I
like it.
love your vision board. It's very, very colorful. Now, if you're like me,
Yeah,
mine's is very like color coded, and it's just a lot of words and a lot of
I love
circles.
it. Yeah, but it's still but you're putting, it's no different than if somebody, somebody that puts a lot of positive affirmations around, positive quotes, you know um Maya Angelou is one of the few quotes that, until when you know better, do better, right?
Yeah,
One of her quotes that just whatever it is that works for you, if it's listening to in the morning that's positive, prayer that's, I'm a big Joel Osteen watcher. I love to watch his stuff. But when I want to feel motivated in business, to some Gary Vee. I listen to some who is an Rachel Peterson. I want to when I'm going for the more of the spiritual aspect of things, Shetty, Mel Robbins, the female, the blonde with the glasses. And those are the things that I lean on and listen to in the background. And then some days I don't want to hear it's just chiming bowls and nature sounds. Like music is so wow. Are
yeah.
you
I mean,
audio sound?
yeah, I'm the same way. I think nature, I love listening to nothing sometimes. And it's so funny. Do you ever sit there when I need to go on a walk to start thinking and get my mind reset and refocus again? I'll put my earphones in like I'm going to listen to something, and then I forget. And then before you know it, I'm almost done walking. So it's like I didn't listen to anything but the outside air and the cars driving by, but I was
Yeah.
attuned to being focused to whatever I was doing at that moment. So, but it goes,
Your thoughts are that loud. Your thoughts
it
are that
is.
loud. Yeah, I know the feeling. I have done the exact same thing.
So if you're out there, don't worry. Everyone
Yes,
does that, including
yes,
us. But
100%, 100%.
but I do listen to, like, podcasts. Daily Boost podcast is one I listen to. Daily Motivations. I listen to a lot of those get you going, pumped up, type of ones.
Yeah,
As well as just, nothing, and listening to my thoughts and listening to other things at that same time. So, but it's what works for you. It's what really is going to keep you positive and changing that course of those thoughts,
yeah,
and how to go about doing that. But I think literally, like we had, said, it's like being grateful, practicing that gratitude. What
yeah,
is that? It's, you surround yourself with positivity. Look, we surround ourselves. You never know who you can connect with and have that positivity, right? And it can
yeah,
help
100,
that and encourage you. And yeah, welcome those challenges. I mean, even days when you don't feel like it, it helps you, right?
100%.
And grow
And
with
and
it.
and I missed this earlier, but this is a very great point. And Shane is she's one of my super positive go-tos. Today should always be the best of your life. Reason being, you can't change the past and
Mhm.
you can't predict the future. That is
I love
perfect.
that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Staying
that
in the present.
staying in
Because
the present.
present.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love her thinking. I'm like that. Stay in the moment, right?
Hmm.
And that's almost like a really good personal statement mantra for her. That I
Hmm.
know we were talking about. What's one positive affirmation or personal statement that you keep, that you say to yourself or you write out to keep yourself motivated?
Leave it
Uh,
in the comments.
Put it in the comments. I would love to hear that as well. What is yours, Kimberly? What's one thing that you say?
Um, I have a couple, I have a lot. But like I always thank God. One of the things I say to myself when all my other, water, everything else is not, when it's a saying out of my head, it's let go, let God, especially when it comes to like past stuff. Um, Going ahead of me, making the path straight, opening up the doors that no one can shut. I don't, that's a quote, but I quote, I don't know the scripture. I'm bad. I barely got those words down. And I just thank you, God, every morning. Thank you, God, for giving me this breath that I breathe, for giving me another day with my mother. Literally, when I wake up when my eyes are awake and so because if I don't start to think positive things, my mind will race with so
Yeah.
many other negative stuff that my day off wrong. So I have become very self-aware that, especially my past 2 stints in emergency detention slash hashtag adult, that I am, I can't go back and change the past and predict the future. So I have to stay in the present, and the best way I can stay in the present starts the minute that I become awake, and that is a thank you, God, for whatever. Right.
Yeah.
I have a great friend, shout out Angie Pusateri. She used to always stop me and tell me, she was one of my accountable friends. And when I'm having one of those days, she'll say, stop. Now tell me five things you're grateful for. Tell me out loud right now. I was like, okay. How that she gets me, right? And I do the same thing when somebody's just, not because they asked me to do it, but because you could just see they're spiraling out of control. But she knows, and so I check a lot. Like when I start feeling like I'm going down that negative, I'm going this way instead of going,
Mm.
or whatever the direction is, I check myself and I put in accountability partners to check me as well.
I love that. I love that. And I think that is so important. I think whatever your personal statement is, whatever your words of affirmation, scriptures, whatever it is that continue, write it down, keep it near you, go back to it day in, day night, in the middle of the day, have it somewhere in your pocket when
your screensaver. It could be on your screensaver of your phone. It can be on the screen of your computer. Like, get cheesy like us. We put it all over your, well, that was actually a gift that was given to me, but my whole, all these things in the back, there's of mantras and quotes and scriptures and you name it, all of that, like positive pictures with family and friends gives me you know what I mean? Like that's also that my house is surrounded with is pictures of family and friends.
You have to. I have so many. I started a note for myself every morning. So I read of my computer a note for myself. So I'm reminded to look at it and I read this every morning.
If you have to, yeah.
It's like, and I read a little bit like trusting yourself every day you can and start thinking about what you can, what you will, and how you will. And be very open with that. That is a letter to yourself. That's something that's going to keep you positive and inspired at the same time, and giving yourself those high fives and kudos at the same time too, and speaking over yourself as well. I think is important.
100%. So, just for the sake of time, I want to make sure, let's wrap it up and give the audience any last minute departing thoughts that you might have.
The only thing I can say is, besides staying positive, and I think we've touched on this all day. I mean, all day. I feel like I've been talking all day. That's how great this is right now. Be in the moment, right? Yeah. Practice being present because it's so important. Leave tomorrow for tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday. Wake up and be present for today because there's so much that can go on.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean don't set goals. You're macro, micro goals, maybe. Like
very much. And celebrate those wins. Don't forget to celebrate those wins on every achievement that you have. I think that's so important as well when it comes to keeping that positive mindset too.
Yeah. And if you hear more of Lissi's positive mindset, here are all the places that you can find on the World Wide Web, as my father says.
Oh my God, this has been fun.
Yes, and if you want to be a guest, please email Kimberly at Marketing Doer. We would love to have you as a guest. I've secretly recruited as my co-host. She didn't even know it. So we're gonna throw some guests at her here soon. I'm working on behind the scenes. But yeah, and if you want to connect with me, here's also some free resources as well. You can go to this link. It's really easy. It's not click. folks, but you can see it and retype it. If you go to Google and just type in, show you another, oh, is that gonna, oh yeah, that's gonna, go to Google, search hashtag ThatKimberly, and find all past videos and social, anywhere you want to connect with me. So that's our wrap up for today, Lissi. And I appreciate you helping me with this.
I'm grateful for being a guest again. Hashtag dynamic duo.
So until next time, everyone, remember sharing is caring, and have a good your week.
Bye.
Bye.